morning to you. This is the first time that President Trump is addressing the nation in this way, talking directly to Americans about his agenda since his his address to the joint session of Congress. And as we head into this big midterm election year, some of his closest allies are hoping that he spends more time tonight talking about domestic issues.
Well, I think the message this evening is we inherited a mess, and we've done a great job, and we continue to. And our country is going to be stronger than ever before very soon.
President Trump giving a preview of tonight's primetime address to the nation after visiting Dover Air Base, where he attended the dignified transfer of 2 National Guardsmen and an American interpreter killed in Syria. The speech comes at a time when affordability is on the minds of everyday Americans. A new Fox News poll reveals 61% of voters disapprove of Trump's performance on the economy. The administration telling Americans they'll be able to afford more once they have more money in their pocketbooks in the new year, thanks to Trump's signature tax cuts like no taxes on tips and overtime.
We could see between 100 and 150 billion of refunds going primarily to working families.
The president may also tonight tout all the U.S. brokered peace deals this year, including the October ceasefire between Israel and Hamas, now in question after Israel killed a senior Hamas leader. There's also the dragging peace talks between Russia and Ukraine and a new blockade around sanctioned Venezuelan oil tankers in the Caribbean.
They took all of our oil from not that long ago, and we want it back.
Mr. President, what's in store for you, too? Republicans want Trump to spend more time talking about domestic wins, like the now secured southern border.
We don't really talk about that anymore, but that happened almost immediately with real leadership.
While Democrats are already questioning whether the president accomplished anything at all.
If Donald Trump had any shred of honesty and self-respect and self-insight, he'd look into the camera tonight and say to the American people, I have failed you.
And breaking tonight, Brett, the president will head into the new year with a bit of a staff shakeup. A deputy director of the FBI, Dan Bongino, is out tonight. You'll remember back in July, there was a heated argument between Bongino and AG Pam Bondi at the White House over the fallout from the Epstein files, how that was handled, a memo. Bongino was upset about it, the way that it was handled. We don't know if that is exactly the reason why he is leaving today. But the president knew this was coming earlier tonight as he returned from Dover Air Force Base. He said, quote, Dan did a great job. I think he wants to go back to his show. Brett.
This turkey tastes half as good as it looks. I think we're all in for a very big treat.
Save the neck for me, Clark.
Okay, Eddie.
It's just funny. It'll never not be funny. It's just funny. And that's it. That's all. It's just one of my favorite memes of all time. That is President Trump coming out of the turkey, ready to rock and roll tonight. We are going to the White House, baby. Now, actually, I am just sitting here in an office, but we are all going to be watching President Trump live from the White House as news breaks. Dan Bongino has officially resigned from the FBI, although he will be sticking around until January. But Dan Bongino has moved out his stuff and is ready to roll back to his show, which we applaud. And ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be covering quite readily because we've been in communication with Dan now. Now we've been able to talk with him about this. And there are some big plans, actually, for before he leaves the FBI. We'll fill you in on that tonight. Our special event, President Trump talking about Dan Bongino leaving and then potentially going to war. Very interesting. So this is a speech that is billed as a policy speech. So what President Trump's going to give tonight is a policy speech. But Tucker Carlson says what Trump will do is take us to war. Fascinating stuff. Let's begin off the top. I just want to make sure that we get a good preview here. We have 20 minutes before the speech, less than that, actually. 19 minutes before Trump's major address to the nation. These things tend to be on time. So let's lock in quickly as to what we may be expecting here tonight. Tucker Carlson saying, no, you don't understand. It's not going to be an economic speech. It's not going to be a policy speech. It's going to be a speech that takes us to war in Venezuela. Here's what Tucker had to say.
Is Trump going to start a war in Venezuela?
I don't know. I don't know when this program airs, the one that we're on right now. This thing's maybe live.
No, we're live now, and then
Okay.
it'll be posted immediately. So now,
my sense is, I don't know the answer. I've certainly been on the phone a lot about it. I have no power. I'm a podcaster, but I'm very interested. And so here's what I know so far, which is that members of Congress were briefed yesterday that a war is coming, and it'll be announced in the address to the nation tonight at 9 o'clock by the president. Who knows, by the way, if that will actually happen? I don't know. And I never want to overstate what I know, which is pretty limited in general.
So that's Tucker saying we are going to war tonight. That's what he's saying. Now, the administration has been ramping up a war on the narco state, Venezuela. I didn't vote for a new war. I don't want a new forever war. However, Venezuela is a very bad actor. As we have said, the number one precursor to, punishing Venezuela would be the fact that they rig our elections. That is a matter of fact. I have that from the highest possible sources, that Venezuela runs election rigging operations in our country and in others through their electronic voting machines. I'm telling you, these are extremely serious people who have told me that because they've done the investigations themselves, and they were on Trump's team that hacked the election in 2024. So is President Trump going to announce that he is going to war with Venezuela tonight? They've obviously been ratcheting up their activity in and around Venezuela, closing down the airspace, seizing tankers. I don't think that America has really, quite frankly, the stomach or appetite for a new war. It was bad enough, the bombing of Iran. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to pray that that doesn't happen. I don't think this is the time for that. What do you think? I mean, I was I'm not. I don't think that anybody in MAGA voted for new forever wars or regime change. Nonetheless, Venezuela is a very, very bad actor. You can see sort of the drums of war approaching. So we'll hope that there are ways to do this where it doesn't actually lead to boots on the ground. Nonetheless, it is important for us to dominate our own hemisphere, for us to not have bad actors that are poisoning Americans, rigging our elections, and engaging in terrorism across our borders. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is a positive, the collapse of the Venezuelan regime. I still want to do it with boots on the ground. Plus, I hate communists. Caroline Levitt up saying, no, what's going to happen here is we're going to talk about the policies that are going to be implemented next year. Here's Caroline.
Americans across the country will tune in to hear from their president as well about the historic accomplishments that he has garnered for our country over the past year. If you look at the security of our border, if you look at stopping Joe Biden's inflation right in its tracks, bringing down gas prices to the lowest level in 5 years, President Trump will be talking about what's to come. The best is truly yet to come, as he often says. And so he'll be addressing the country about all of his historic accomplishments over the past year, and maybe teasing some policy that will be coming in the new year as well as we head into this Christmas season.
Quite the
new housing policy teases. We hear that there's going to be also some major policies when it comes to denaturalization. Get ready. This is a breaking report that we have been briefed on from DHS. There are going to be heavy denaturalization pushes. Now, these are people that have American citizenship, but they've been using their American citizenship to become filthy, dirty communist terrorists in our land and to usurp our nation and to engage in activities that are antithetical to their American citizenship. And by the way, they swore against. Here's a good example. You're not allowed to be a communist and become an American citizen. That's still on the books. Zoran Mandami is a communist. He's proud of that fact. Why the hell don't we denaturalize him? These things aren't matters of fact. ladies and gentlemen. And so get ready. President Trump, again, live in the diplomatic room in his first address to the nation. And in these addresses to the nation, very interesting, the president can command primetime audiences. That's why it's happening at 9 o'clock, approximately 15 minutes. Time is 8:46 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I want to talk really quickly and make sure that we get coverage of two things. One is Dan Bongino. Forgive me. Dan Bongino has announced that he will quit the FBI and return to popular talk show. We have communicated with Dan. He's in good spirits. But the reality is that if you are a good husband, if you are a good father, that when you are living 1,000 miles away from your family in a city that just freaking breaks your soul, Washington, D.C., is a soul-crushing place, and it filled with scum and villainy in every corner, that eventually that wears on you. What I've been told is that this was part of the plan, that this was always part of the plan, that Dan was going to do a year, and January makes a year. Here's what President Trump had to say. Trump announced it first, confirming that Dan is going back to his show. This is as President Trump was going back to Washington, D.C. from the dignified transfer that he was at today. Here we go.
That was a beautiful event for three great people. And they're now looking down, and their parents and wives and all of the people that were there were, devastated, but great people, great people. So thank you very much for being there. You're doing a great job.
Mr. President, is the goal of the blockade with Venezuela to regime change?
It's a blockade. Not going to let anybody going through that shouldn't be going through. You remember they took all of our energy rights. They took all of our oil from not that long ago, and we want it back. But they took it. They illegally took it.
Tell you why he's planning to leave the FBI?
Oh, Dan did a great job. I think he wants to go back to his show.
The Nixon cash bill?
Yeah, I do.
You mentioned getting land back from Venezuela. What land?
Getting land, oil rights, whatever we had. They took it away because we had a president that maybe wasn't watching. But they're not going to do that. We want it back. They took our oil rights. We had a lot of oil there. As you know, they threw our companies out, and we want it back.
What's the message this evening?
Well, I think the message this evening is we inherited a mess, and we've done a great job, and we continue to. And our country is going to be stronger than ever before, very soon. Thank you very much, everybody.
Okay. You hear Donald Trump there saying that Dan wants to go back to his show. That is what I have heard directly, and that he also really misses his wife. He misses his children. He has two beautiful daughters. He has a lovely family here in Florida. He had a great life here in Florida. And this is sort of my eulogy for Dan Bongino after talking to a few people that have worked with him and sort of getting the full take of what's going on, because I really respect this man. Dan Bongino has been a mentor to me and somebody that obviously I really appreciate his guidance on a lot of things. And what he did here was incredibly selfless. Dan Bongino is a very successful dude. He's been at this game for a long time. He was an OG podcaster. He sort of helped, he's very much like a Joe Rogan figure, frankly, in our medium. And, doing a daily show, like hitting the news, breaking stories, big loyal audience. And Dan built a lot of this ecosystem. And he was rich and successful and powerful because of it. We all know that. Dan was also, obviously incredibly famous because his show is the #1 show in America. He ran a media empire. And when President Trump asked him to help clean out the rot at the FBI, something that nobody thought could even be done, a job that was a suicide mission in every sense of the word. It was something that was going to be thankless. People were going to hate you for it. The building was going to hate you for it. Your friends and allies will turn on you, and they'll critique you every step of the way. And is it an impossible job? I don't even know. I mean, can it be reformed is the question that we've been asking. Anyway, it was one of the most selfless acts I've ever seen in modern political history. This is a matter of absolute fact, is that Dan Bongino did not need this. He took this job for you and for me. He lost what would be millions and millions of dollars by taking this job because of what he was getting paid, how successful his show was. He left at the very top to go to the very bottom, which is to clean out the FBI. Dan Bongino locked up a lot of bad guys. He fired a lot of bad people at the FBI. He made major reforms. And Dan Bongino, I'm just going to say the good, the bad, and the ugly. What's he going to be remembered for? The good, Tyler Robinson. Dan Bongino was there on the ground when Charlie Kirk was murdered. Dan Bongino's actions that day, hopefully there'll be a book about him, but Dan Bongino's actions that day directly led to the assistance of Tyler Robinson getting arrested and the filthy left-wing transgender boyfriend guy is now in chains, straight up admitting that he killed Charlie Kirk. His friends are admitting he killed Charlie Kirk. Tyler Robinson pulled the trigger, killed Charlie Kirk. Now, is there a greater conspiracy around all of this? I tend to think yes. And I would really love to see a lot of the transgender accounts that were celebrating this before it even happened get investigated. I'd love to know more about that. But either way, I am very glad that that was wrapped up tight like a button right afterwards with a motive. And they came out, with an enormous amount of information. I'd like to get a lot more of that out. I've been briefed by people who've seen the case file, and they say that it is the most demonstrable. This is an exact quote. It is the single most demonstrable murder case, open and shut, they've ever seen. So that's a win. The good, the bad. The bad, I would say, is the pipe bomber. I know I might get some flack for this, but I still have so many questions about the pipe bomber. I don't buy it. I mean, maybe you got the guy who did the pipe bombs, but you're gonna have to explain why. We need more of an explanation. The guy admitted to it. Okay, fine. But we need more of an explanation. That is a huge, giant, open question. And then the ugly is the Epstein files. And Dan Bongino said he was going to quit during the Epstein files saga. Dan Bongino, of course, really understood how powerful and how toxic this situation was going to be, and applied some major pressure. Unfortunately, the damage was already done. And so that was that. But nonetheless, I'm really proud of my friend Dan Bongino, his work with the FBI. That's what I believe is a very honest and fair-minded take about that work. Eventually, time away from your family will break you. If you are a good man and a decent man, a husband and a father, Dan is choosing his family. He's returning to his show. We need him now. We're proud of Dan. We don't know if the FBI can be rebuilt. We don't know if it's worth salvaging. But you know what? Dan tried, and he was the man in the arena. And thank you for your service, Dan Bongino. Dan Bongino coming out over the top, saying, I will be leaving my position in January. Thank you, President Trump, AG Pam Bondi, Director Patel. Opportunity to serve with purpose. Most importantly, I want to thank you, fellow Americans. The privilege to serve with you. God bless America and all those who defend her. Cash Patel, up over the top on Dan Bongino's tweet here. Here is Cash. Dan is the best partner I could have asked for in helping restore the FBI. He brought critical reforms to make the organization more efficient, led successful summer heat op, served as the people's voice for transparency, delivered major breakthroughs in long unsolved cases like the pipe bomb investigation. And that's only a small part of the work that we went through every single day. Delivering for America, he's not only completed his mission, he's far exceeded it. We will miss him, but I'm thankful that he accepted the call to serve. Our country is better and safer for it. Okay. This is, Dan getting lots of love, obviously, on social media. Here's Jack on our team. It's great. And he's saying this is why Dan Bongino quit. Here's great FBI work today. FBI looking through the snow. Ugh. You see how terrible things are, right? This is in at Brown University. Just how bad things are when you don't actually find the killer. Anyway, we're thankful to Dan Bongino. Trump seems thankful to Dan Bongino. Don't blame Dan Bongino for the problems at the DOJ. He doesn't run the DOJ, and he will be missed. QT time is over. So here we go. You ready for the Dan Bongino show to come back? I think that's an absolute guarantee. We'll be praying for Dan Bongino, ladies and gentlemen. First, Liberty can help you pray for a better and more free America, for an America that has more liberty. First Liberty is an organization that fights for freedom, fights for religious liberty across the nation. And they have the Religious Liberty State Index. This is where you can find out exactly how free your state is when it comes to actual religious liberty. There are a lot of terrible rules that are made in states that are anti-Christian, that are anti-God. And there was a satanic Baphomet that was put up in the state capital of my home state, which is Iowa. And I was very angry at that. And so, ladies and gentlemen, First Liberty can make sure that your state is safe and free and a great place to raise children with religious freedom. They also fight in court in order to make sure that you can have religious freedom in your state. They have a 90% win rate, including a 9-0 record at the Supreme Court. So go to firstliberty.org/Benny. That's firstliberty.org/BENNY in order to support them and to see where your state ranks in the liberty rankings. Okay, we got something that I'm very glad. So President Trump will be coming to us live in just a few short minutes. Looks like just 3 short minutes. I wanted to read to you very quickly the plaques that Donald Trump put up on the photos of presidents in the White House. This is something that everybody is talking about today. It is hysterical. This is God tier trolling. Donald Trump has affixed these sort of like metal, kind of pewter, museum style captions to the photos. And again, we will click right on over to President Trump's speech. It will be just down the hall from these plaques. So let me go ahead and read them to you. Here's the Joe Biden auto pen plaque, written in museum font. Worthy of the Smithsonian. Sleepy Joe Biden was by far the worst president in American history, taking office as a result of the most corrupt election ever seen in the United States of America. Biden oversaw a series of unprecedented disasters that brought the nation to the brink of destruction. His policies caused the highest inflation ever recorded, leading the U.S. dollar to lose more than 20% of its value in 4 years. His Green New scams surrendered American energy dominance and abolishing the southern border. Biden let in 21 million people from all over the world pour into our country, including from prisons, jails, mental institutions, and insane asylums. His Afghanistan disaster was among the most humiliating events in American history and resulted in the murder of 13 brave American service members, many of them gravely wounded. Seeing Biden's devastating weakness in Russia invaded Ukraine, Hamas terrorists launched heinous October 7th attack on Israel. Nicknamed both sleepy and crooked, Joe Biden was dominated by his left-wing handlers and their allies in the fake news media, attempted to cover up for a severe mental decline and his unprecedented use of the auto pen. Following his humiliating debate loss to President Trump, he was forced to withdraw from his campaign and re-election a disgrace. Biden weaponized law enforcement against his political opponents while also persecuting many other innocent people. He left office issuing a blanket pardon for radical Democrat criminals and thugs, as well as members of the Biden crime family. All despite that, Trump won re-election in a landslide and saved America. Okay, here we go. Bill Clinton. All right, we await President Trump. We'll, of course, go directly to Trump as soon as he is live. Bill Clinton served as the Attorney General and Governor of Arkansas, winning the presidency, what he called a major upset President George W. Bush as president. Clinton signed crime and welfare legislation, which was passed with the leadership of the Republicans in Congress. He approved NAFTA, which the President Donald J. Trump would later terminate as being bad for the United States. Welcomed China in the World Trade Organization and oversaw NATO's military intervention in Bosnia and Kosovo. Despite the scandals that plagued his presidency, the tech boom of the late 1990s resulted in excellent economic growth, which helped him and Republicans in Congress deliver balanced budgets for the first time in a decade. In 2016, President Clinton's wife, Hillary, lost the presidency to Donald J. Trump. It's so good. Oh, man. Okay. It's just really funny. All right. Do we have time for one more? Here we go. Barack Hussein Obama. It's just God tier trolling. Oh, he's plaque maxing. He's plaque maxing. the first black president, a community organizer, one-term senator from Illinois, and one of the most divisive political figures in American history. As president, he passed the highly ineffective, unaffordable resulting in his party losing control of both houses of Congress and the election of the largest House Republican majority since 1946. He presided over a stagnant economy, approved the terrible Iran nuclear deal, and signed a one-sided Paris Climate Accords, both which were later terminated by President Donald J. Trump. Under Obama, the ISIS caliphate spread across the Middle East. Libya collapsed into chaos. Okay, here we go.
8 years, and some would say in the history of our country, which caused prices to be higher than ever before, making life unaffordable for millions and millions of Americans. This happened during a Democrat administration, and it's when we first began hearing the word affordability. Our border was open, and because of this, our country was being invaded by an army of 25 million people, many who came from prisons and jails, mental institutions, and insane asylums. They were drug dealers, gang members, and even 11,888 murderers, more than 50% of whom killed more than one person. This is what the Biden administration allowed to happen to our country, and it can never be allowed to happen again. We had men playing in women's sports, transgender for everybody, crime at record levels with law enforcement, and words such as that just absolutely forbidden. We had the worst trade deals ever made, and our country was laughed at from all over the world. But they're not laughing anymore. Over the past 11 months, we have brought more positive change to Washington than any administration in American history. There has never been anything like it, and I think most would agree. I was elected in a landslide, winning the popular vote and all 7 swing states and everything else, with a mandate to take on a sick and corrupt system that really just took the wealth from people and crushed the dreams of the American people. For the last 4 years, the United States was ruled by politicians who fought only for insiders, illegal aliens, career criminals, corporate lobbyists, prisoners, terrorists, and above all, foreign nations, which took advantage of us at levels never seen before. They flooded your cities and towns with illegal aliens. They decimated your hard-earned savings. They indoctrinated your children with hate for America. They just released a level of violent felons that we had never seen to prey on innocent. They caused war. They caused mayhem. They caused a horrible situation all over the globe. But now you have a president who fights for the law-abiding, hardworking people of our country, the ones who make this nation run, who make this nation work. And after just 1 year, we have achieved more than anyone could have imagined. Starting on day one, I took immediate action to stop the invasion of our southern border. For the past 7 months, 0 illegal aliens have been allowed into our country, a feat which everyone said was absolutely impossible. Do you remember when Joe Biden said that he needed Congress to pass legislation to help close the border? He was always blaming Congress and everyone else. As it turned out, we didn't need legislation. We just needed a new president. We inherited the worst border anywhere in the world, and we quickly turned it into the strongest border in the history of our country. In other words, in a few short months, we went from worst to best. We're deporting criminals, restoring safety to our most dangerous cities. Just take a look at Washington, D.C. It's at levels of safety that we've never seen before. And they decimated the bloodthirsty foreign drug cartels. We did that all by ourselves with our people, and we're so proud of it because they were poisoning and destroying our population. Drugs brought in by ocean and by sea are now down 94%. We have broken the grip of sinister woke radicals in our schools, and control over those schools is back now in the hands of our great and loving states, where education belongs. After rebuilding the United States military in my first term, and with the addition we are adding right now, We have the most powerful military anywhere in the world, and it's not even close. I've restored American strength, settled 8 wars in 10 months, destroyed the Iran nuclear threat, and ended the war in Gaza, bringing for the first time in 3,000 years peace to the Middle East, and secured the release of the hostages, both living and dead. Here at home, we're bringing our economy back from the brink of ruin. The last administration and their allies in Congress looted our treasury for trillions of dollars, driving up prices and everything at levels never seen before. I am bringing those high prices down and bringing them down very fast. Let's look at the facts. Under the Biden administration, car prices rose 22% and in many states 30% or more. Gasoline rose 30 to 50%. Hotel rates rose 37%. Airfares rose 31%. Now under our leadership, they are all coming down and coming down fast. Democrat politicians also sent the cost of groceries soaring, but we are solving that too. The price of a Thanksgiving turkey was down 33% compared to the Biden last year. The price of eggs is down 82% since March, and everything else is falling rapidly. And it's not done yet, but boy, are we making progress. Nobody can believe what's going on. Here are just some of the efforts that we have underway. You will see in your wallets and bank accounts in the new year. After years of record-setting falling incomes, our policies are boosting take-home pay at a historic pace. Under Biden, real wages plummeted by $3,000. Under Trump, the typical factory worker has seen a wage increase of $1,300. For construction workers, it's $1,800. For miners, we're bringing back clean, beautiful coal. It's $3,300. And for the first time in years, wages are rising much faster than inflation. Remember that. The wages, just look at it. Wages are going up much faster than inflation. How big is that? Very importantly, there are more people working today than at any time in American history, and 100% of all jobs created since I took office have been in the private sector. Think of that. 100% of all jobs have been in the private sector rather than government, which is the only way to make a country powerful and great. This historic trend will continue. Already, I've secured a record-breaking $18 trillion of investment into the United States, which means jobs, wage increases, growth, factory openings, and far greater national security. Much of this success has been accomplished by tariffs. My favorite word, tariffs, which for many decades have been used successfully by other countries against us, but not anymore. Companies know that if they build in America, there are no tariffs, and that's why they're coming home to the USA in record numbers. They're building factories and plants at levels we haven't seen, AI, automobiles. We're doing what nobody thought was even possible, not even remotely possible. There has never, frankly, been anything like it. 1 year ago, our country was dead. We were absolutely dead. Our country was ready to fail, totally failed. Now, we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. And that's said by every single leader that I've spoken to over the last 5 months. Next year, you will also see the results of the largest tax cuts in American history that were really accomplished through our great, big, beautiful bill, perhaps the most sweeping legislation ever passed in Congress. We wrapped 12 different bills up into one beautiful bill. That includes no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. Under these cuts, many families will be saving between $11,000 and $20,000 a year, and next spring is projected to be the largest tax refund season of all time. Because of tariffs, along with the just passed One Big Beautiful Bill, tonight I am also proud to announce that more than 1,450,000, think of this, 1,450,000 military service members will receive a special we call Warrior Dividend before Christmas, a Warrior Dividend. In honor of our nation's founding in 1776, we are sending every soldier $1,776. Think of that. And the checks are already on the way. Nobody understood that one until about 30 minutes ago. We made a lot more money than anybody thought because of tariffs, and the bill helped us along. Nobody deserves it more than our military, and I say congratulations to everybody. And by the way, we now have record enlistment in our military, and last year we had among the worst recruitment numbers in our military's history. What a difference a year makes. In addition, I'm doing what no politician of either party has ever done, standing up to the special interests to dramatically reduce the price of prescription drugs. I negotiated directly with the drug companies and foreign nations, which were taking advantage of our country for many decades, to slash prices on drugs and pharmaceuticals by as much as 400, 500, and even 600%. In other words, your drug costs will be plummeting downward. And I used the threat of tariffs to get foreign countries who would never have done it to pay the cost of this giant dollar reduction. They stopped ripping us off, and it began as of 4 days ago. There has never been anything like this in the history of our country. Drugs have only gone up, but now they'll be going down by numbers never conceived possible. It's called Most Favored Nation, and no president has ever had the courage or ability to get this done until now. The first of these unprecedented price reductions will be available starting in January through a new website, TrumpRx.gov. And these big price cuts will greatly reduce the cost of health care. I'm also taking on the gigantic health insurance companies that have gotten rich on billions of dollars of money that should go directly to the people. The money should go to the people. That's you. So they can buy their own health insurance, which will give far better benefits at much lower costs. It will be far better health insurance. The current Unaffordable Care Act was created to make insurance companies rich. It was bad health care at much too high a cost. And you see that now in the steep increase in premiums being demanded by the Democrats, and they are demanding those increases, and it's their fault. It is not the Republicans' fault. It's the Democrats' fault. It's the Unaffordable Care Act, and everybody knew it. Again, I want the money to go directly to the people so you can buy your own health care. You'll get much better health care at a much lower price. The only losers will be insurance companies that have gotten rich, and the Democrat Party, which is totally controlled by those same insurance companies. They will not be happy, but that's okay with me because you, the people, are finally going to be getting great health care at a lower cost. Another major focus is the cost of energy. For years, the radical left Democrats exploited the green energy scam as an excuse to funnel many billions of dollars into their own massive slush funds as their energy restrictions drastically drove up prices, and they drove them up at record levels. Electricity costs surged 30 to 100% under Biden, and the typical family lost $5,000 to $10,000 in higher energy costs. Think of that, $5,000 to $10,000 you lost. On day one, I declared a national energy emergency. Gasoline is now under $2.50 a gallon in much of the country. In some states, it, by the way, just hit $1.99 a gallon. And within the next 12 months, we will have opened 1,600 new electrical generating plants, a record, and it's a record that won't be beaten by practically, I would say, by anybody, or certainly not very soon. Prices on electricity and everything else will fall dramatically. The Democrat inflation disaster, again, the worst in the history of our country, also robbed millions of Americans of home ownership and indeed the American dream. The yearly cost of a typical new mortgage increased by $15,000 under Democrat rule. In 11 months, we've already gotten that annual cost down by $3,000, and it's coming down a lot lower. Wait till you see. The numbers are going to be shocking. And I'll soon announce our next chairman of the Federal Reserve, someone who believes in lower interest rates by a lot. and mortgage payments will be coming down even further. Early the new year, and you will see this, in the new year, I will announce some of the most aggressive housing reform plans in American history. A major factor in driving up housing costs was the colossal border invasion. We have never been invaded. This is the worst thing that, frankly, in my opinion, the worst thing that the Biden administration did to our country is the invasion at the border. The last administration and their allies in Congress brought in millions and millions of migrants and gave them taxpayer-funded housing while your rent and housing costs skyrocketed. Over 60% of growth in the rental market came from foreign migrants. At the same time, illegal aliens stole American jobs and flooded emergency rooms, getting free health care and education paid for by you, the American taxpayer. They also increased the cost of law enforcement by numbers so high that they are not even to be mentioned. For the first time in 50 years, we are now seeing reverse migration as migrants go back home, leaving more housing and more jobs for Americans. In the year before my election, all net creation of jobs was going to foreign migrants. Since I took office, 100% of all net job creation has gone to American-born citizens, 100%. In the end, government either serves the productive, patriotic, hardworking American citizen, or it serves those who break the laws, cheat the system, and seek power and profit at the expense of our nation. Look at Minnesota, where Somalians have taken over the economics of the state and have stolen billions and billions of dollars from Minnesota and indeed from the United States of America. And we're going to put an end to it. For so long as before my election, the vast majority of good and decent Americans were forced to watch as corrupt politicians plundered the halls of power, exploited our taxpayers, and pillaged every system that makes civilized society function. But not anymore, and you see that every day, not anymore. We're putting America first, and we are making America great again. Very simple. We are making America great again. Tonight, after 11 months, our border is secure. Inflation is stopped. Wages are up. Prices are down. Our nation is strong. America is respected, and our country is back, stronger than ever before. We're poised for an economic boom, the likes of which the world has never seen. Soon we will host the World Cup and the Olympics, both of which I got. But most importantly, we will celebrate the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. There could be no more fitting tribute to this epic milestone than to complete the comeback of America that began just 1 year ago. When the world looks at us next year, let them see a nation that is loyal to its citizens, faithful to its workers, confident to its identity, certain to its destiny, and the envy of the entire globe. We are respected again like we have never been respected before. To each and every one of you, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. God bless you all.
Hot damn. Damn. President Trump just went in. That was a complete flamethrower. And he kind of just sped read the entire thing. Approximately 18 and 17-minute speech. Donald Trump just like letting her rip. I think that it is certainly worthy of a rap horn for sure. Donald Trump and talking about how he is going to be moving into 2026, the economy, major focus, no announcement of war. President Trump talking about major economic systems that he is going to be reforming, the big, beautiful bill, how he's going to be lowering taxes, how he's going to be delivering tariff dividends, how he's going to be delivering checks for service members, how President Trump is going to be locking down our border and securing jobs for Americans and not foreign-born workers. He's going to be accelerating deportations. He's going to be working on gas prices. I saw all the gas prices going up. If you have a gas price, shout it out right now. What is your gas? I'm going to go look at that. I'm going to look at the chat. Let's go look at chat. Come on. Where's your gas price? So I'm sorry, the chat was going too fast. It's hard to actually put the chats up on screen. Does anybody have gas below $2 a gallon? Anyone have gas below $2 a gallon? $3 in Indiana. Okay, $2.90. Please shout out your state and your gas price, and we'll do our best to put it up. I'm sorry, there's a lot of comments going through right now. Okay, so I'm seeing $2 in Iowa, $2.89 in New Jersey, Salt Lake City. You've got $2, $2. It looks like there's a lot under $3. Everybody under $3. There's a ton of states that are under $3 right now. It's pretty remarkable. I mean, this is like, did you see this with Biden? Somebody just said New York is they filled up for $3 in New York. That's pretty impressive. Now, again, these are state taxes that lay on top of the actual price of gas. And so there are states that have much higher gas prices, like California. Where are you at? If you're Washington, California, shout yourself out. What's up in California? I've seen some people that say they have $5 gas in California, while there's $2 gas for the rest of the country. Producers, there's a $2 in Central Texas. Can anybody show me gas? Does anybody have gas that's around $2 like flat? I don't know if we're going to be able to push. So $1.92 in Spring, Texas. I just saw $1.92 in Spring, Texas. You're able to gas up for $1.92. That is remarkable. This is like how you win the midterms, man. This is how you win midterms. All available polling says that it is going to be the economy. Nobody's going to care. Obviously, Republicans just voted today, actually, to do some major reforms on healthcare. That's going to be huge. But the price of gas is the price of everything. The price of gas is going to be critical. What is the price of gas? The price of gas is every single good that you have. Everything in your life, it needs to use fuel to get there. It's made of petroleum. The vast majority of items you use are either plastics or some type of petrochemical. And to deliver them to the store, that is the price of gas. The price of gas is the cost of life. And so when the price of gas is collapsing, and I'm looking at here, Washington State, $2, $2.75, $2.57 in Tupelo, $2.35 in Tennessee, $2 in Illinois, approximately $2.32 in Waco, Texas. ALX, can you grab me some like major gas price data, please? Look at this. Polk County, Florida. Thank you, Robin Shore. Polk County, Florida, $1.86. That can't be real. Is that real? That's wild. $1.99 in Oklahoma City. Says Giga Taylors. Gidge Taylors. That's wild. So somebody's saying it's $1.79 in Colorado. I just saw that in Colorado. City in Colorado that I didn't see. It's still all the people in California weeping into their chat right now, crying salty tears into their keyboards. Don't ruin your computers. Don't ruin your computers, chat. But they're crying into their keyboards because they live in California and they got $5 gas. Sucks. I'm sorry about it. Anyway, this is how you win. And this is how you keep winning. This is exactly the kind of policies that are going to win for the midterms. It obviously has not been a perfect start to the administration, but it's something that you can fix once you actually get your policies implemented. And so that's what President Trump did, a huge and dynamic address about domestic issues. It's a wonderful thing to see the president refocus on this. I know as a matter of fact that the president and his team are also refocusing on housing affordability, grocery affordability, and have some major plans to ramp up mass deportations. Final thing here tonight, everything in your life is made better with mass deportations. Nothing in your life is made better with unlimited, infinity, third world chain migrations from nations, countries that hate you, that hate your culture, that don't want to assimilate. Assimilation, immigration without assimilation is an invasion. Ask yourself, would I want this country that these people are coming from to be a 51st state? If the answer is no, you shouldn't let anybody from that country into your country. Like, you don't get to destroy your country and then come here and destroy mine. So F off, like that. This is not the way that we run our systems anymore. It is totally and completely parasitic. Stephen Miller had an absolute banger on this. Actually, today. Hey, Alex, can you grab me that? I'm headed up, ladies and gentlemen. We are done. My bedtime is 9 o'clock, so it's way past my bedtime. Helix Sleep is the mattress and bed that I sleep on. Helix Sleep, we are proud to say, also is the bed for our kids. Like, they are wonderful mattresses. My wife is a major picky sleeper. The Helix Sleep quiz helped her to get an award-winning mattress, the exact right one for us. We drift off to sleep, and I sleep like a baby every single night. We work very hard on this channel. We love you. We love the brands that obviously work with us. And this is one that I use every single day. It comes with the Helix Sleep Mattress Guarantee. Rest easy with seamless returns and exchanges. Happy with Helix Guarantee offers risk-free customer-first experiences, 120-night sleep trial, limited lifetime warranty. Ladies and gentlemen, Helix Sleep, the mattress for you, the mattress for me, mattress that I'm going to right now. Go to helixsleep.com/Benny for 27% off site-wide. helixsleep.com/Benny, 27% off site-wide. Okay, let's just read that Stephen Miller banger. For years, the United States operated as a reverse empire, using its military to enrich foreign nations and foreign peoples, sacrificing our wealth, security, and sovereignty for the sole benefit and advancement of those beyond our borders. All we got in return were migrants. No more. America's might will secure America's rights. America's military will defend America's destiny. For Americans first and always. Well done, Stephen Miller. Tried to do some sound effects on Trump, but we just said maybe we'll keep the sound effects off. But we thank you very much for joining us for President Trump. We've been live for an hour awaiting President Trump and his major actions today. It was obviously something that we hope the president does more of. And as ever, we are here for you, and we are here for the chat. We are excited for Dan Bongino to get back into the space. And most importantly, we're excited to fight for this country and save this country by defeating our true enemy, which are the filthy, dirty communists and the people that want to raise your gas prices. It's amazing to see. Maybe I need to move to Oklahoma City, man. $199 in Oklahoma City, $179 in Colorado. Those are damn good prices. That's something to have a very, very Merry Christmas over. That's a Christmas present right there. It's your boy Benny. Thank you, chat. God bless all of you. I hope you enjoyed that Trump speech as much as I did. Man was ripping tonight. I don't know what he was on. He was ripping tonight. He just tore through that thing. Good for you, man. That's the energy that we need, and the energy that we need to win. Okay. We'll see you. God bless you. Merry Christmas. See you tomorrow.
The biggest ships in the sea, all owned by the oldest kings, and their dying legacy, media deal weeds. Soon will the Benny Show come to mind. The salt from lives for fun. Be the gold and bring the gun. We sail for #1. Come to mind, the salt from lives for fun. Leave the gold and bring the gun. We sail for #1. The biggest ships in the sea, all owned by the oldest king.